Hi everyone, welcome to this new class. My name is Daniel Vegarejo and today we're going to be dealing with a new session. And in this session we're going to be talking about movies. And with regard to movies, we're going to be comparing movies, but in this case we're going to use superlatives adjectives. So let me share with you what would be the learning objective for today's lesson. Our objective is to write sentences comparing movies and common preferences using superlative adjectives. So, when we're dealing with movies, we especially are focused on their characteristics, right? Do you have a favorite movie? I'm pretty sure you have your preferences about movies. So let me start with this question. Which is the most exciting upcoming movie you want to watch first? In this year, 2021, we have many movies upcoming, right? So let's use some adjectives to describe them. But in this occasion, we are going to use superlatives. You remember in the last class, we were talking about comparative adjectives, but now we're going to use superlatives. So how many superlatives do you know? As you can see, there are many movies in which we are going to be describing and using the superlatives. So please be prepared for describing them by using the superlatives adjectives. But before getting into this, let me explain to you what a superlative is. What are superlative adjectives? Okay, basically superlative adjectives are used for describing characteristics that are very important. For example, let me show you some sentences in which these superlatives are used. For example, as you can see, there is a house here in this picture, and you could say this house is large. But if you want to remark the largeness of this house, you could say my house is the largest one in our neighborhood. So there is a little change, right, in the word large. The word large has become the largest. So let's go for the second sentence. For example, in this picture, you have this is the smallest box I've ever seen. The adjective here is small, but it's being changed, right? So the word is the smallest. So you could say when you use a superlative, you say this is the smallest box I've ever seen. Number 3, your dog ran the fastest of any dog in the race. Another example we all threw our rocks at the same time. My rock flew the highest. So what are superlatives basically? Superlatives are adjectives that remarks or notice one important characteristic of an object or a person. They are used to describe, but especially to remark, one important feature over the others. So let me give you an overview of the types of superlative we have. For example, you have these short adjectives like old, scary, big, funny, and cheap. These short adjectives, they turn into superlatives just by adding at the end of these words the letter est. So in this way, old turns into oldest, scary turns into scariest, big into biggest, funny into funniest, and cheap into cheapest. But please don't forget the article the. When we use superlative form, we always use this article the. So you would say the oldest, the scariest, the biggest, the funniest, and the cheapest. But in other type of adjectives, for example, in long adjectives, that means that there are more than one or two syllables, like for example, relaxing, interesting, expensive, we don't add est at the end of these words. Since they are longer, we put the word most before them. So in this way, relaxing turns into most relaxing, interesting turns into most interesting, and expensive turns into most expensive. In this way, we have other types of adjectives, we have irregular adjectives. That means that they change completely. For example, good turns into best and bad turns into worst. So these are superlatives. So in this session, I motivate you to describe your personal and favorite movie. In today's lesson, we are going to be dealing with a heartbreaking movie, a very heart-touching movie. Please make sure you use superlatives to remark its characteristics. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask to your teacher. I'm pretty sure you are going to have a fun lesson today. I'll see you in the lesson.